Hi Year 5, now we're going to do our next lesson in science on levers, gears and pulleys. So the aim is to recognise levers, gears and pulleys and to build a lever, gear or pulley. What we're actually going to do is design one. And with us not being in school at the minute, I have put something in your pack where you can design a pulley system. So we'll talk about that later in the video. So just to recap, these skydivers have jumped out of an aeroplane and are falling quickly towards Earth. What forces are affecting them? If you want to pause your video for a second just to have a think about the forces that are affecting the skydivers. So we've got the gravity and we've got air resistance. So going back to one of our previous lessons that we did in school where we looked at air resistance. This submarine is diving downwards and forwards into the sea. What forces are affecting it? Again, if you want to pause your video to have a think of the forces that are affecting the submarine. We've got the gravity again. We've got the driving forces of the engine, the upthrust of the water, and the force of water resistance, which is pushing against the submarine. So an introduction to levers, gears and pulleys. They're all mechanisms and they make jobs easier to do, sometimes just for fun. We've got a picture here of people on a seesaw, just showing that lever mechanism while the children are playing on the seesaw. Levers are the simplest type of mechanism. They are really good at lifting objects and can be used to make objects easier to lift. Here are 3 levers. Which lever will make lifting the block easiest? So if you want to pause the video and just have a little think, looking at those 3 levers, which one will make lifting the block the easiest? And here we've got A. So did you get that right? Well done if you did. That is going to be the easiest lever out of the 3, the easiest mechanism to lift that block. So gears are tubed wheels that lock together and turn one another. The wheels are usually different sizes so that one gear speeds up to slow down the next gear. Gears are also used to change the direction of movement. So how will turning a small gear wheel affect the speed of a larger gear wheel? Let's find out. So if the first gear wheel is smaller, so it's got fewer teeth, and the teeth are just these bits around the edges, then the second one, which is the bigger gear wheel, doesn't have to move as quickly to keep up with the smaller one. So the second gear wheel turns more slowly than the first because it's not having to keep up with that smaller one. So pulleys are like gears, but the 2 wheels do not lock together. So where we saw before on the gear wheels, they lock together in the teeth. They meet each other and lock together. In the pulleys, they do not lock together. Instead, the wheels are joined by a belt. Pulleys can be used to change the speed, direction, or force of a movement. So let's have a little look at our plenary before we move on to what we're going to be doing today. Which mechanism would be most suited to these jobs? Hoisting a flag up a flagpole. Have a little think. It will be a pulley system to pull the flag up the post. Which mechanism will be most suited to this job? Making one wheel turn faster than the other. A gear. So we talked before about how the wheels, and depending on the size, depends on how fast they can move and when those teeth are meeting as they're turning. And C, which mechanism will be most suited to these jobs? Making a heavy sack easier to lift. I think we should be thinking back now to the beginning of the PowerPoint, and we can see it will be a lever. A lever will be easiest to lift. So your task today is to design a pulley system on the paper that's been given in your pack, and it's to be able to move a book from one table to the next. So just thinking about your design, maybe looking at this one that's in front of you now, how could you create a pulley system where you could move a book from one table to another? Think about when it talked about pulling that flag up a flagpole as well. Thank you very much, Year 5.